Picture this. Under moonlit floodlights of the Suez, plumes of smoke curling like conspiracy whispers as British warplanes thunder overhead, Egypt's gold reserves vanishing into the mysterious desert sand in a single night. What if I told you that millions in bullion disappeared while bombs rained down? Stay tuned. An international game of shadow banking, covert airdrops, and Soviet diplomats lurking in Alexandria will expose the secret of the missing gold. In the spring of 1956, Egypt's charismatic president, Gamal Abdel Nasser, rocked global finance by seizing control of the Suez Canal Company and nationalizing its revenues. Britain's Bank of England and France's Banque de France scrambled to protect their balance sheets, while Israel eyed a strategic lifeline. On one side, the British Treasury, led by stern-faced regulators wielding hedge arbitrage strategies, essentially profiting from tiny interest rate gaps, mobilized quietly behind the scenes. On the other, French financial advisors leaned on offshore trusts, legal vehicles, and tax-friendly havens to move assets out of Cairo's reach. Meanwhile, Soviet diplomats loomed large, promising to safeguard Nasser's newly minted gold in Moscow vaults. Picture Winston Churchill's Treasury team muttering, "If only our hedge funds made headlines like this." And imagine French tycoons grumbling over croissants about bribery and money laundering schemes, where washing cash simply meant hiding its origin, explained in plain English. Investors likened the scramble to a game of Risk with bullion tokens instead of plastic armies. Who knew international finance could be as messy as a British Tea Party gone rogue? But beneath the quips lay a fierce struggle for economic control, setting the stage for a high-stakes treasure hunt nobody saw coming. It was a financial soap opera, delightful. Now let's slip behind the velvet curtain of geopolitics and cryptic accounting, tracing every breadcrumb of bullion until the plot thickens with mystery and tension. Each clue will feel like a clandestine whisper in a grand financial thriller, and by the end, you'll be punching your screen. Where is the gold hidden? Strap in as we hunt down each tantalizing lead through midnight raids, coded dispatches, and diplomatic double talk. The first clue, the mysterious account. It all began when an overworked clerk in Cairo's central bank stumbled upon a ledger entry stamped Project N. No explanation, no approvals, just a curious line item transferring 50 tons of gold bullion to an offshore trust in Geneva. This wasn't your average accounting slip. It reeked of a hedge arbitrage trick, earning profit from tiny interest rate gaps across markets. Imagine spotting a neon sign flashing free money in a deserted tunnel. Such was the shock of regulators who realized that Egypt's once bulging vaults were bleeding gold. Light-hearted complaint. Why does every secret transfer remind me of someone's shady Craigslist deal? They grumbled, flipping through yellowed pages with coffee-stained fingers. The second clue, the international informant. Rumors swirled of a suave French advisor who disappeared after sipping Campari at dimly lit forums in Alexandria. He allegedly orchestrated a bribery and money laundering operation, disguising gold shipments as agricultural equipment bound for Marseille. An undercover customs agent later confessed that those steel crates hammered with fake serial numbers weighed like precious metal, not farm tools. Our informant described coded telegrams with secret port instructions, hinting that someone greased the wheels at every checkpoint. A rhetorical question echoed in every suspicious mind. Who pockets a shipment without fingerprints? The third clue, the sudden disappearance of funds. Just as British fighter jets roared over Port Said, scheduled bullion shipments vanished into thin air, tracking codes dropped off swift logs, and treasury balances plunged. Documents unearthed years later in the Soviet diplomatic archives revealed encrypted memos instructing Moscow's vault keepers to hold Nasser's gold under seal. Yet when Egyptian investigators pressed for verification, they encountered labyrinthine bureaucracy and diplomatic stonewalling, like asking a cat to reveal its secret nap spot. Light-hearted quip, if only we could shake loose one stubborn KGB clerk. By weaving together glimpses of battered shipping manifests, clandestine midnight meetings in Alexandria warehouses, and redacted cables from embassies that read like spy novel excerpts, the suspense mounts to a fever pitch. Picture flickering film of Soviet vault gates swinging open, the glint of gold reflected in a wary guard's eye, and British agents flipping through forged passports in a back alley safehouse. Every cut, every pan, every dramatic close-up brings you closer to the heart of the heist. Yet the ultimate destination of Egypt's missing gold remains just out of reach. Which side pocketed the bullion? The prize is still hidden, and the chase rages on. Stay glued as we decode every hidden cipher and shipping bill that could shatter this conspiracy wide open. In the quiet aftermath of diplomatic maneuvering and coded telegrams, our big break arrives in a stack of declassified Soviet cables stamped top secret. Instructions from Moscow's finance ministry ordering safekeeping of 40 tons of Egyptian gold under a custodian agreement with the Kremlin's central bank. Suddenly, the puzzle pieces click. The gold wasn't airdropped by Royal Air Force bombers or spirited away in French freighters marked tractor parts, but ferried under heavy guard through Bulgarian Black Sea ports in sealed vault cars and deposited in Kremlin coffers. A top British intelligence report, dusted off in the National Archives, confirms that MI6 quietly monitored every step, noting a fiduciary transfer, codenamed Operation Gold Seal, and even tracked bullion serial numbers under a cross-border offshore trust arrangement. Imagine British civil servants muttering, "I've seen more transparent money laundering on carnival rides," as they pore over balance sheets that vanished overnight. But thanks to a whistleblower's affidavit, an ex-KGB translator turned émigré, we have transcripts describing Soviet ledger entries that mirror Egyptian Treasury records almost to the gram, proving the bullion moved intact. What about the missing remainder? It turns out France's Banque de France secretly sold a portion to cover arms purchase debts to West Germany, using hedge arbitrage tactics to offset currency risk. A colorful footnote in a banker's diary reveals a cheeky note: converted gold into Deutsche Marks faster than one can say wunderbar. With dramatic irony worthy of a spy novel, the final piece of evidence emerges from a dusty vault in Cairo, a sealed envelope labeled "Do Not Open Until 1986", inside which sits a ledger confirming that Nasser himself authorized a partial sale of gold to the USSR in exchange for arms and training. An uncanny blend of statecraft and financial engineering. Suddenly, every whispered rumor, every late-night warehouse meeting, and every forged shipping manifest snaps into sharp relief, revealing a grand design. Egypt's gold was strategically parceled to fund its defense, with the Soviets acting as clandestine custodians and the French and British covering their own wartime losses through discreet bullion auctions. So the missing gold wasn't stolen. It was strategically deployed as geopolitical currency. Rhetorical question: who knew that gold bars could serve as both bullets and bargaining chips? And just like that, our saga transforms from a thriller of heists into a masterclass in Cold War finance, where bullion became the ultimate Trojan horse. As the dust settles on our Cold War treasure hunt, one truth shines brighter than bullion. In high-stakes geopolitics, gold isn't just metal, it's the ultimate currency of power. Egypt's bullion became a geopolitical chess piece, traded for arms, alliances, and covert guarantees. Modern investors take note. Hedge arbitrage and offshore trusts can be powerful tools, but without transparency, they risk becoming shadow play that even history may struggle to untangle. Consider this. If you'd hidden half your portfolio in an offshore vault, would you sleep any better knowing a secret agreement could shift tomorrow? And think about diversification. Would you trust only one custodian or spread assets like pieces on a world map? These questions aren't academic. They echo into boardrooms and brokerage accounts today. After all, aren't we all just trying to protect our own gold reserves from sudden political crossfire? Here's the takeaway. Always follow the paper trail, demand clear audit clauses, and never underestimate how financial engineering can bend the rules, sometimes with explosive consequences. If you glue yourself to balanced ledgers instead of whispered backroom deals, you'll likely sleep sounder than a Soviet vault guard on his midnight shift. Thank you for joining this deep dive into the Suez Gold Saga. If you enjoyed peeling back the layers of Cold War finance, hit that subscribe button to uncover more untold financial mysteries. Smash the like button if you found these vault-breaking revelations mind-blowing, And drop a comment below. What other vanished treasures should we investigate next? Your ideas might be our next big expose. Until then, keep your portfolios diversified, your questions sharp, and your curiosity golden.